A Year with God, Day 101. The reading for today is out of Acts chapter 13, and it has to do with Paul and Barnabas being called out to serve the early church as missionaries. And it happens when the church in Antioch is gathered together, and they're in a time of worship and fasting, which in my tradition are two things that don't often seem to go together. But they're in a time of worship and fasting, and in this time of worship and fasting, God speaks to the group as a whole and calls out Paul and Barnabas to be some of the first missionaries of the early church. In the commentary reading, they were talking about this experience of worship, the idea of worshiping together in a community with other people. And this is one of the things they had to say. It says they move beyond the narrow experience of personal faith into the reality of God's presence in community. And I think that's one of the things that we sometimes need to look at, need to focus on a little bit more, is that idea of God's presence in our lives, not just in a personal experience of faith, but more in a communal aspect of faith. And I know we frequently gather together as churches, and we sing and we worship and we pray, and all those things are great. But I wonder if sometimes we go through the motions, and we're missing that idea of experiencing God in community with others. I wonder if sometimes even in a crowd, our experience of worship is one of personal faith and not of God in community, experiencing God with others and participating with God with others. So those are my thoughts on Day 101.